Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another review. I told everyone on my Twitter account that I was going to at least try. I don't plan on failing, but I'm going to try on reviewing every single show this year. The compromise for that was no stills of the matches, no anything like that. It's just going to be one picture showing who's in the match, and that's it while I'm talking about it. Kind of like a podcast in a way. So I just got done watching the January 2nd show. And this time I'm doing something a little different. I'm going to be recording my thoughts right after watching it, and I'm not going to have a script. I have my notes here that I wrote down during the matches, and talk about whatever comes up on here. So the first match is a typical opening match, having all of the rookies and or young people and Leo. So it's Hina and Leo representing Queen's Quest versus Rina and Ruka representing TCS. Now, as you guys know, for opening matches, I kind of don't hold them to the same standards as all of the other matches because I feel like the opening match, they're supposed to be kind of achieving something different compared to the rest of the show. They're not supposed to be doing anything crazy. They're just supposed to get you in the mood for the show and get you pumped up. First thing I noticed watching this match is that Hina has surpassed Rina in terms of wrestling ability in ring. I truly believe that after watching this show. Rina just wasn't nearly as impressive as Hina was. All of Hina's moves looked a lot more crisp, a lot more impactful, while as Rina seems to have gotten a little bit more soft. Rina's still a little bit better in terms of the entertainment aspect of it, but I feel like Hina's not too far off. So as of right now, I feel like the better of the two twins would definitely be Hina. Ruka has gotten a lot better. She has always kind of had really good big boots, but lately and ever since her return, I've been noticing she's had a little bit more oomph in them than she usually does, and that especially shows in this match with all of her big boots looking like the opponent is getting hit by a truck. Leo is steadily improving. All of her moves in this match has looked very solid and fluid. She's definitely the most solid out of all of the people in this match, as you would expect, her being much older and much more experienced than the rest of them, I believe. You would think she would, but Leo hasn't exactly been a prodigy. She's a very slow starter, in my opinion, and I feel like she's kind of reached a stride since joining Queen's Quest, and her in this match is kind of showing that. So the match ends with Hina pinning Rina with a Oedo clutch after 3 minutes and 56 seconds. The reason why I know that is because there are new match graphics after the matches now. I don't know if this is going to be a regular thing. I really hope they do. But what they do is they show the winner, what faction they represent, how long the match was, and then they show you the move that was used to end the match. I really want them to keep doing this because one of the hardest things for us foreign fans is knowing what everyone's moves are called, whether it be a special name or just a regular wrestling move name, because wrestling moves aren't exactly easy to learn the names of because depending on what country you're in, some could be called something completely different. Also, one little snafu from this match, it seems either the wrong person won or they just kind of messed up because they started playing Rina's music after the win, and I'm thinking it's probably a mess up in terms of them mixing up Rina and Hina, but at the same time, shouldn't they already have the song like readily prepared? I mean, that's why they played the wrong song when Hazuki eliminated B during the Cinderella tournament, because B was supposed to win. So they had her music queued up. So it seems odd that they would have had Rina's music queued up if Hina was supposed to win this match. Either way, it's a mess up. I don't know on whose part, but it really doesn't matter. It's not like it detracts from the show or anything. So moving on to the next match. Yeah, this match for me actually gets a thumbs up. I'm trying to come up with a better system on rating these. I decided just for now to start to do kind of a very simple thumbs up, thumbs down, star, fire system. So thumbs down obviously is going to be a bad match, a match that I think was not good and it shouldn't be recommended whatsoever. Thumbs up is just a good match. That's all. It's just a good match. A star is going to be a match that was really good. And then a fire is going to be an amazing match. Think Tam versus Arisa for the Wonder Belt last year. That would have been a fire. Konami versus Kagetsu, that 30-minute draw that they had, that probably would have gotten a fire. Things like that. Just things that I would describe as amazing. If I describe the match as amazing in my head, it's getting a fire. If I describe it as like great, it's getting a star. If I describe it as good, thumbs up. Describe it as bad, thumbs down. So there you go. That's how I'm going to be doing this rating system. So moving on to the second match, we have a three-way match with Saya Ida, Itsuki Hoshino, and Layla Kirsch. Kirsch. I'm just going to call her Kirsch for now. If I'm saying her name wrong, please let me know. This is her debut in Stardom. She is a foreigner. I don't know a single thing about her. I did find it kind of funny that Saya was interested in her because they're kind of built the same way. Both of them are very short but stocky. So that was pretty interesting, and I was kind of excited to see what this chick could do. Sorry if I sound a little weird or make some weird noises. Two things. One, I turned up my mic just to see how much background noise it actually picks up. And two, I'm actually like sick, so my nose is constantly running and my throat isn't that great, but it's not bad. And I've already recorded one video today. Most likely this is going to go up before that one, just because this one's not going to take any time to really edit. So starting off with this match, the first thing I noticed was, I don't know if Itsuki got a new entrance theme, if this was always the one she used, but whatever it is, the one she's using now is straight fire. I love it. It's really cool. I think more of them should have lyrics in their entrance music, but we'll see how that goes. Not all of them, just more of them, because I actually really like ones that don't have lyrics, like Kagetsu's and Azumi's and stuff like that, and Leo's. Right off the bat, I noticed that Leela is starting off pretty strong. Her moves are very solid. She's quick in the ring, and she's very fluid. Just from first impressions, I think she's going to do a really, really good job here in Stardom. Itsuki completely dropped the ball here today. She did pretty terrible all match. Her drop kicks were super weak. She was just completely off her game the entire time. I don't know if maybe she was just having an off day, or if maybe she was tired or slightly injured or what, or maybe her nerves had finally gotten to her, but whatever it is, she did not do good here. I'm sorry for any Itsuki fans, but that's just how I feel. Other than that, though, everyone did pretty okay. The match was good in my opinion. It got a thumbs up from me, but it wasn't a great match in any shape or form. It was just good at best, mostly because Itsuki kind of brought it down quite a bit. Layla did great, but she did miss her moonsault at the end, which ended the match. She almost didn't hit it at all, but that could just happen sometimes. Maybe she's not used to the ring and she overcompensated the distance because she overshot it. Whatever it was, I'm not going to hold it against her. It happens to everyone. I mean, Mayu misses stuff all the time, and she's considered one of the best wrestlers in the world. So yeah, Leela pins Itsuki in 4 minutes and 49 seconds with the moonsault. Like I said, this match gets a thumbs up from me. It wasn't bad. Even though Itsuki didn't do very good, she didn't bring it down enough to get a bad rating from me. I still think the match was okay. Moving on to the third match, Queen's Quest versus Oedo Tai. Representing Queen's Quest was Momo Watanabe, Utami Hayashishita, and B. Priestley, versus Oedo Tai, which is being represented by Natsuko Tora, Natsu Sumire, and Zoe Sky. Now, for those of you who don't know who Zoe Sky is, you might recognize her by the name Dust. She was actually in Stardom before. I think she wrestled in Stardom twice. Once actually in Japan for a tour, which she did really good, and that's when I first discovered her and I thought she was really awesome. And then a second time was during Stardom's New York show. She was the person who wrestled, I believe, Hazuki for the high-speed belt. So yeah, I guess she's going by Zoe Sky right now. I don't know if that's something that she always did, or if Dust is the name she always goes by and she changed it because Sumire kind of brought that up as well, saying like, "Oh, is this dust?" And Natsuko's like, "No, no, 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 Zoe Sky, Zoe Sky." And Sumira's like, "Oh, is that the same person?" It is the same person. I just don't know if it's supposed to be acknowledged or not. This is also a chapter in Oedo Tai's history, as this is the first match after Hazuki has left. And everyone in this match is pretty much the only people left in Oedo Tai, since Kagetsu is going to be retiring soon. So that was a little somber to see that, but they seem to be in high spirits and they don't seem to be letting it get them down. They're still doing their typical antics, even to the point of messing with Queen's Quest's entrance by throwing towels at them. I thought that was hilarious because Momo was just getting absolutely angry. She was like throwing them back very angrily. She was flipping them off. It was nice to see the return of Murder Momo, even if it was just for a little bit. It does look like that Natsuko inherited the face wash kicks sequence from Hazuki. I know she did it in the last match that they did, or the last time they teamed together. I can't remember which one, but she did it again in this match. And if she's going to start using this as a regular thing, she really needs to work on it because she's not good at it at all. It might just need to be more practiced, but if this is as best as she's going to be able to do it, I would just suggest not doing it at all. Like that, it's doing her no favors doing it that badly. Another thing I would really like to note is that Momo's dropkicks are legit the best. I literally wrote down Momo dropkicks equal best. Her dropkicks into the corner are just some of the most beautiful dropkicks in Stardom. I was once told that she does a variation of a dropkick called a delayed dropkick that was, I think, innovated. I don't know about innovated, but I've heard people say innovated by Kenta, and then kind of made famous maybe by Shibata from New Japan. I don't know if all of that is correct. That's just me going off of memory, and you guys know how good my memory is for things I actually care about, and this is something that I don't really care about, so I probably have mixed up some info here and there. Anyway, her dropkick's amazing. Sumire tried to steal the Samato again, and it's just always hilarious that Sumire tries other people's moves. It's fun because it kind of gives her this unique thing in Stardom. No one really even attempts other people's moves unless they're on the same team or they're kind of like their disciple or something like that. So with Sumire purposely trying to steal people's moves all the time, it just adds another layer to a character that I really like. Sorry, my handwriting is very bad in my notes. Like usually it's really good, but I was trying to write really fast while watching the matches. But I finally deciphered what I tried to write is Momo takes a beating in this. Throughout the entire match, almost from beginning to end, the person who was in it more often than anyone else was Momo, and she was just getting beat left and right by everyone. Team attack, team attack, team attack. It was pretty crazy, and it's really interesting to see Momo be able to take all that punishment and then still go on to win as she pins Sumire in 11 minutes and 41 seconds with the Tequila Sunrise. If you don't know what the Tequila Sunrise is, it's the first part of her Peach Sunrise suplex. Instead of having the arm hooked under the leg, like pulled under the leg for her Peach Sunrise, she just she has one in a hammerlock and the other one up above, like behind the head, and then that's how she does it. It's a very devastating looking move in my opinion. I really love Momo's suplexes, and I really love how her moveset kind of moves into them, because Momo doesn't really do too many moves, but if you notice that her submission move, like her main submission move, because everyone in Stardom has kind of like their own submission, it's kind of like the Asuka lock. She doesn't always lock it in with the legs and stuff like that, but it's basically the top part of the Asuka lock. And if you notice, that's basically the beginning of her suplexes. So she can turn that into the Tequila Sunrise, or she can turn that into the Peach Sunrise, or she could just go right into the submission. And I think that's very smart on her part. And this match got a thumbs up from me. It was very good. It was just too much downtime and comedy-ish bits that weren't like the main focus for me to really give it any better than a thumbs up. Moving on to number 4, Giulia and Miyagi versus Jamie Hayter and Martina. This match I was really excited for, as all of you probably know, as I am absolutely in love with Giulia. I'm just like a huge fan. I don't know why. I know some people don't really understand why I'm such a big fan of her. She's not even close to like perfect, like she has a lot of flaws. She has a lot of things wrong with her. She's very hesitant in some things, and I think that has a lot to do with just being in a new promotion with new people, being worried about the outcome of this because she very severely burnt a lot of bridges to do this. I think she might just be a little worried that if this doesn't work out, she might not be able to go anywhere else. I'm not saying that she wouldn't be able to go anywhere else, but maybe that's what she thinks because she does kind of have. I saw someone describe her as like this lost puppy look. That's actually a very good description, and that's actually one of the things that I really like about her is that I just really like how sometimes she's just not very sure of herself. And I think it gives this dynamic to the character because it's clear that the character she's trying to portray as this is this like very confident, like heelish, narcissistic character that is like, oh, you guys love me so much, things like that. But whether this is intentional or not, she's not able to fully pull that off. And whether, like I said, this is intentional or not, I really like that because I feel like it's someone trying to be that character. And that just adds more layers to it. I don't think it's intentional, but I'll take what I can get out of my head canon. Right off the bat, I just want to say that I'm getting real tired of Martina. And before everyone starts writing hate comments, I'm not saying she's a bad wrestler. I think she's really good. Sometimes she does things that just completely surprises me. She's very good sometimes. It's just her character. It's, in my opinion, it's only fun in short bursts, but she's been here so long and it's getting towards the end of her tour that I'm getting kind of annoyed with it because while it's fun for a little while, it does kind of have this hokey feeling to it a little bit because it just feels forced and fake sometimes. When you're only seeing it for like a week or two, you're like, yeah, that's fun, it's fun. But then after a while, you're just like, this is kind of dragging on, It's like when someone tries to do a joke and they just keep dragging it on and on and on, and it's like, dude, it was only funny for a little bit, like, stop. So I'm ready for all of the hate comments for that, but that's just how I feel. I know you guys appreciate that I'm always honest with you, and you guys are always honest with me, and we can be honest with each other, and that's what I honestly feel. Something that I noticed in the opening match promo with Giulia and Miyagi is Giulia's doing her typical thing, and it was hilarious. Or not hilarious, but it was good. The next thing is going to be hilarious. And then she kind of gives Miyagi the room to talk, and Miyagi says something like Miyagi's wish or something like that. And the look on Giulia's face is like she just doesn't know what to do after. She's just confused about what Miyagi just said. And then she just kind of like turns back to the camera and is, yeah, okay, let's go. It was just super funny to me. I don't know if that's what they were going for, but if it was, that's comedy gold in my opinion. Jamie took the chair shots pretty well in this. One of the main things I've noticed about Stardom is that anytime a weapon is used, it's not good. No one really uses it very well, and that's okay because I'd rather them be safe, but at the same time, if you're going to use it, at least try to make it look at least a little convincing, that's what a lot of people have problems with punches nowadays, is that none of it really looks convincing anymore, and a lot of people are just like, stop using them if you're not going to be able to do them convincingly. And that's kind of how I feel about like chair shots and weapon attacks in Stardom. They've never been good at them, but they've gotten a lot better lately, especially with people like Hana and Giulia who don't seem to be as adverse to using them as the rest of them. And the reason why I'm bringing all this up is because I think Jamie really took the chair shots pretty well. She allowed Giulia to put in some oomph behind them. Nothing too crazy, but crazy compared to how Stardom chair shots usually go. And that leads into the fact that Giulia and Miyagi are actually a really good team. I feel like they work really well together. They have a lot of good chemistry, and I'm wondering if they're teamed together because they had worked outside of Stardom together. I don't even know if they have, because I know they were from two different promotions, Sendai Girls for Miyagi and Ice Ribbon for Giulia. But it's not crazy to think that those two promotions had worked together at least sometimes. Most other promotions work together at least a little bit, unlike Stardom. Maybe they team these two together because they don't really have a place for Miyagi. They don't really have a place for Giulia, even though I think she could have fit in Queen's Quest. And they want to create a new group. That's going to be spoilers. In the next show, apparently Giulia says that she's going to be starting a new group and she's going to be bringing some people. And I think they wanted to put these two together because maybe they just knew each other before this and they were able to work together well. And it shows if that's true, because I think they have a lot of good chemistry in the ring together. And also, so I literally wrote my, and then heart symbol, then the number 4, Giulia, and then a bunch of arrows up. Like, I don't know why, but every single match of hers, I'm just getting more and more of a fan. And I don't even understand it myself sometimes. I think you guys can kind of understand this, that sometimes you can't really explain things that you really like. It's just a feeling, maybe you can give a little bit of here or there why you like certain things, but for the most part, it's purely a guttural feeling. I just really like Giulia for some reason. Anything she does, I just like. I'm being completely biased because she does mess up stuff sometimes, but it really doesn't matter to me because I like the overall package. And Jamie did really good in this show, as always. Jamie is just a phenomenal wrestler. She's top notch. Her character work is great. She's really, really underrated. She's getting a lot better rated now that she's been showing up in AEW. And I think that's really great because she really deserves it. Seriously, if she did decide to join Stardom and like move to Japan like B did, I would be all for it because she's great. She's not one of the foreigners that kind of get on my nerves after a little while, and I pretty much like her all the time. So something that happened I was not expecting. Giulia tried her glorious pile driver. I don't know if that's the actual name. I just know that two of her moves are called like the glorious slam or something, and like the glorious driver. And I'm assuming that her pile driver is called the glorious pile driver or glorious driver or something. But she attempted it on Martina, which I was not expecting because Martina is kind of a big girl. And everything about her just does not scream, hey, do lifting moves on me. Because Giulia didn't really seem like the most strongest person, in my opinion. I don't even know if they messed it up or not. It looked really bad when I watched it. Like, it looked like Giulia might have spiked Martina, but no one even like checked up on her afterwards. So I'm assuming something went right that I didn't see because of the camera angle. Let me know if you guys feel the same way about that, whether it was not good or not, because I've actually never seen Giulia do that move. I believe she probably did it in her Maya Yukiki match, but I don't remember it. So that was kind of my first interaction with it, other than that one time she did it in Stardom. But that time, she like the person kind of ducked their head, and they did it like how a lot of the Joshi wrestlers do pile drivers. But this time, it kind of looked like Martina's head just straight up smashed into the mat. And the match ends with Giulia tapping Martina in 7 minutes and 38 seconds with the Stealth Viper, which is her submission move that I'm absolutely in love with. I think it's really great. Pretty much everyone in Stardom who has a finisher that is a submission is awesome. Like, every single one of them's awesome. Hana's Hydrangea, Momo's, the Oscar Lock, and Utami's Torture Rack. All of them. Every one of them is just super, super, super cool, and this one is no exception, especially with a cool-ass name like Stealth Viper. One thing I noticed that I don't even know if it's something to be noticed is that I think Miyagi is wearing different gear. I think she's wearing an earlier version of her gear, like when she first showed up in Stardom. And I'm curious because I'm assuming that this is a transitional gear until she gets a new gear for her her new group that she's forming with Giulia. I don't know. I'm looking forward to that. So I gave this a thumbs up, just like all the rest. It was a good match. It was a really good match. There was a lot of slow parts. There were some mess ups here and there that I just couldn't give it better than a thumbs up, unfortunately. But a thumbs up isn't bad. Don't take it as a bad, and don't take it as like, oh, this one got a thumbs up, but so did the rookies match. They're not the same type of thumbs up. Every type of match is valued in a different way. Opening matches, for an opening match, that was a thumbs up. You know, for a 3-on-3 for the match before this, that was a thumbs up. You know, this system really sucks, but it's the best I can do because I'm not going to be able to come up with like number ratings here because I'm never going to be able to be consistent ever. So just take it as anything thumbs up and above. I would recommend someone to watch. And I'm probably not a good person to be taking recommendations from because apparently I'm recommending the rookie match. Moving on to the next match, the fifth match and the semi-main event of the show. It is the one that I was very excited for because it was Azumi and Kagetsu finally teaming together for the first and last time versus Mayu and Starlight Kid. Mayu Iwatani and Starlight Kid. Now, before this even started, I actually didn't even notice that this was a rival versus rival match in both ways. Kagetsu versus Mayu and Azumi versus Starlight Kid. I believe Stars brought that up. Mayu and Starlight brought that up in their pre-match promo, and I didn't even notice that connection. But that is an amazing connection that I never noticed. I was just so fixated on the fact that Azumi and Kagetsu were finally teaming together without Azumi having to join Oedo Tai, because as you know, I'm very against that. I made a whole video on why I don't think it's the right choice. And I haven't watched that video in a while, but I feel like a lot of the points probably still stand. So, of course, the Azumi and Kagetsu pre-match promo was absolutely hilarious. They work so well together. The fact that Azumi is apparently charging her $500 to be her partner here is just hilarious. For those of you who don't know, it's a running joke. Kagetsu has gotten Azumi to do a number of different things for her, like being one of the camera people for the Oedo Tai diet series on YouTube, emceeing her like birthday event or something like that, or her anniversary event of her wrestling or something like that. I can't remember which it was, but she had Azumi MC it and like waiter it, like being a waitress. And the running joke is that for each time, Azumi is actually charging Kagetsu $500 per hour for it. It was hilarious. I think it's just a super fun dynamic between the two because it really plays into the fact that Kagetsu or Azumi, it doesn't necessarily like Kagetsu, but she appreciates the attention, and she's like, hey, you know what, I'll do you a solid, but you got to pay me buttload of money for it, Something that Starlight Kid and Mayu said in their pre-match promo just literally made me laugh out loud. They talked about how the fact that they had chemistry, and then immediately right afterwards completely messed up and didn't do the end part of their promo in sync. That is all levels of comedic genius there, intentional or not. It was hilarious, and it's obviously intentional, guys. There's no way that these Stars members are so out of sync or ditzy. I mean, it's literally gotten to conspiracy levels of consistency on how inconsistent they are. I just think they're trying to play into that whole the Japanese like kawaii feeling, like the cutesy feeling, a ditzy girl, type of stereotype, and they do it very well. That actually leads into the fact that Mayu forgot her red belt when she came out for the match. She had this huge, thing where she's like, oh no, I forgot my belt. And she kept like mentioning for her belt, and Starlight Kid was just shaking her head like, I can't believe you're our leader. And it was super hilarious. One of the ring seconds actually had to run to the back and get her belt for her so she would have it for the name announcements. That's just typical Mayu. The opening sequence of the match was absolutely fire on both parts. It actually started with Azumi versus Mayu, which was pretty surprising because apparently Kagetsu wanted to wrestle Starlight in the beginning, but then Azumi pushed Kagetsu to the side, walked up to Mayu, and was like, yo, I want Mayu. And so Azumi and Mayu started up. They did a really cool opening sequence. But the really awesome part of this opening sequence was afterwards when they both tagged in their partners. Starlight Kid tagged in, or Mayu tagged in Starlight Kid, and Azumi tagged in Kagetsu, and they just did such a great opener. I was not expecting Kagetsu to be that high speed. I know she can, but it's been a while since we've ever had to see it. And she really went with Starlight Kid's style. They went back and forth, reversals, dodges, very fast attacks. It was super cool. Azumi actually kind of wrestled very dirty in this match. I think just as a little gift to Kagetsu, she decided to take part in all of the dirty tactics that Oedo Tai usually does, like Azumi doing the water spit gag that Kagetsu usually does. She threw Starlight Kid and spit, and you could tell she's not used to spitting water out of her mouth because it wasn't super good. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't super good, and she started like laughing, or at least trying to stop herself from laughing. It was very, very funny. She even instigated the whole the stretchy wrap thing where they bring it all the way up and then they let it go and have it smack into someone's face. I don't know if it was intentional or not, but there was a mishap. The wrap flew back and hit Azumi, who was in the stands, and then she tried it again and then did it. And then Azumi had Sumire be the one to go up in the stands, and she intentionally walked away from Starlight Kid once Sumire was high enough and then let go to hit Sumire. It was hilarious and a very good callback to the fact that Azumi is not a fan of Sumire whatsoever. The even more interesting part is during all of this, you can see Mayu sitting in the back on the entrance ramp, sitting in a chair just watching and clapping along with the audience. She is a terrible leader. Why is she the leader? It's just crazy. There was a really cool sequence later on in the match where Kagetsu and Mayu actually did each other's kind of signature moves. It was pretty interesting. Kagetsu hit Mayu with a dragon suplex, and then Mayu hit Kagetsu with the Samoan driver. Now, this is kind of two levels because the dragon suplex is a finisher for Mayu's, but the Samoan driver is not really a finisher for Kagetsu. It's more of a signature. But the fact that they did each other's moves like that in what's most likely going to be the last time they ever wrestle each other, I think, it was pretty nice. And then later on in a team attack between Starlight Kid and Mayu, they both set up to do a moonsault, a standing moonsault, and Mayu completely missed to the point where she had to play it off, and she played it off really well by like acting surprised, looking around and like touching her stomach where she should have hit. And the crowd was laughing, and it was just hilarious. The best thing to take out of this is that Azumi and Kagetsu are actually a really good team together. They work really well. There's a lot of chemistry. And I think that just has a lot to do with their ability level. They're just phenomenally good. Azumi and Starlight Kid killed it in this match. They're just always so good together. It's ridiculous. And this is no different. They just did so good. But Azumi wasn't able to go the entire match without messing up. For some reason, she always messes up this corner move, the one where she's getting thrown to the corner and she jumps up with her right leg on the right rope, middle rope, then jumps up to the left top rope with her left leg, and then she's supposed to jump off for a crossbody. She did the first time earlier in the match perfectly well, but then the second time she did it, she completely fell on her butt. And I believe Mayu was the one who was supposed to take it, and she did play it off by like attacking Mayu. It might have been Starlight, but either way, Azumi messed it up once again. And watching this match, I actually kind of came up with a thought that maybe one of Azumi's bigger moves is the top rope double foot stomp. But a lot of the times, the person is so far away from the corner that I don't understand why they're doing it like that. After watching this match, I think I might have an idea in that it's actually a separate move. The top rope double foot stomp that she usually does is like her normal finisher, but then I think like an upgraded version of the finisher is when they have them like in the middle of the ring, because they kind of tried to play it off like that was the case, like this was some kind of bigger move than the regular top rope double foot stomp, because she had done that earlier, but then this time they like purposely brought them out into the middle of the mat, and I think it's supposed to be like a better version of the move. The match ends with Azumi tapping Starlight Kid in 15 minutes and 2 seconds with the La Mystica. Apparently, that's what she calls her tilt-a-whirl armbar takedown, and that's awesome to hear because I did not know it was called the La Mystica. I don't know if that's just the name of the move or if that's what Azumi's calling it. Either way, that's what they're saying it is. So it was really nice to see in the aftermatch promo Kagetsu give some love to Starlight Kid. She talks to her. She's like, "Hey, I know I'm always saying Azumi this, Azumi that, but I love you." And she does like the Starlight Kid pose. She mentions several times that she does not care about Mayu, which is pretty funny. The most important thing from this match, though, is that Azumi actually proposes a high-speed tournament. Now, I'm not really sure what this means. I don't know if this means the winner of the tournament gets to challenge Riho for the high-speed belt, or if the winner of the tournament gets the high-speed belt. That seems a little odd if that's the case, but I mean, it could be. That could be it. But I think what it's trying to be is the winner gets to be the number one contender. And Azumi says her goal for this year is to win the high-speed title. And it better happen, Stardom. Seriously, it better happen. And it better happen before Starlight Kid gets it. Seriously. So I gave this match a star because it was just all kinds of good. Everything about it was really good. It wasn't amazing, but it was really great. Moving on to the main event with Stars versus TCS. Representing Stars is Arisa Hoshiki, Tam Nakano, Saki Kashima, and Saya Kamatani. Representing TCS is Hana Kimura, Jungle Kiona, Konami, and Death Yamasan. Now, I thought this match was going to be really good, but I actually ended up giving it a thumbs up. It just did not live up to the match that came before it. And that's really hard because there's a lot of talent in this match, but it just doesn't, it never felt like it kicked off, It just kind of felt like a regular match the whole time. Something I would like to point out from the pre-match promos is Kamatani officially in Stars now? The way that they were talking made it kind of seem like she was officially in Stars. She was like, "Oh, can I join?" And then she was looking at it, was like, "Is that okay?" And everyone was like, "Yes, you're in Stars." Until said otherwise, I'm assuming that she's in Stars. Hana looks like she cut her hair a little bit shorter. I think it looks really good on her. I prefer longer hair, but I think she looks really good and it fits her aesthetic quite well. And then the other hair change is that I didn't actually notice until towards the end of the match, actually, is that Tam straightened her hair. Usually Tam's hair is a lot more fluffy and full looking, but for some reason in this match, it looks like she got it straightened. I don't know if it was for an upcoming photo shoot or if her hair started to frizz out because of the weather or something like that. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter what the hair looks like. I just notice it, She still looks good, so. TCS in this show, or in this match, was very fun to watch. It was a very good dynamic. They really work well together. It's amazing what this new team has done for Konami and Jungle because they've breathed so much life into them after joining this team. It's phenomenal. I would like to point out that Saya Kamatani's screams are very good. Now, they're not as good as, say, Kairi's. Kairi has this, really guttural scream that's just so intense. Kamatani's, it has a lot more impact, but just in a different reason. It's, very high-pitched, but it's intense. And I've always really liked her screams. Kind of like how I liked Kairi's. Look, during the match, Saki and Jungle messed up a Hurricane Rana, which is very rare because those are two very solid wrestlers who rarely really mess up anything. But for some reason, I don't know if they were just off sync or what, it was completely messed up. There was no hiding it. It's a shame that something like that had to happen in the match because I feel like it was so mediocre already, and then you add some mess ups in it, and it's just dragging it down. So the match ends with Konami tapping Kamatani in 14 minutes and 39 seconds with the Triangle Lancer. Now, they call it the Triangle Lancer, but it's clearly a modified version of the Triangle Lancer because she pulled one of Kamatani's legs with it. It's not the final Lancer version, but it is different than the normal Triangle Lancer. But according to them and Konami, it was a Triangle Lancer. So something I would like to point out from the aftermatch promo is that Konami is all kinds of weird now. I don't know what they did to her over there, but she is just absolutely like really weird and kind of creepy in a way, and I absolutely love it. I think it's great for her. It gives her this little character that's not like anybody else in Stardom, but I feel like her character has adult themes behind them, and I don't know if they are though. Like I kind of feel like everything she does is implying it, but at the same time it could very well be not adult themed. Like for example, at the end, Jungle wanted Konami to do like a poem, and she started doing it, but then they stopped her and said like, "Oh, if you said that, this can't be broadcast or whatever." Now, I don't really know what she was saying, because what she was saying in Japanese could have been super obvious what she was going to say in the last part of the poem, like it using the words and what rhymes with what and the subject matter. It might have been super easy to tell what she was talking about, but the way it sounded to me, it kind of sounded like Konami was implying some kind of adult themed things with either Jungle or her opponents, and I don't know if that's like what they were going for. And then I want to end it all off on the fact that Ruka just doesn't fit in with TCS, like at all. Everyone in TCS right now is either super charismatic or they're very good at following the flow. But Ruka always seems lost. She doesn't know what to do. She doesn't know like what to do with her hands, when to do things. She just doesn't seem as outgoing as the rest of them. And I'm hoping that they work on it with her, because it was very clear in this show that, at the end anyway, that she was not fitting in with TCS at all. And there you go. That's the January 2nd Stardom show. I thought it was a good show. I feel like they had a lot of mediocre matches, or like just good matches, but nothing really stood out. And it was kind of a disappointment. But there was a lot of good moments in it that I really liked. Like I really liked Giulia's match, and then I really liked Kagetsu and Azumi's match. There was a lot of things that was great about the show that had nothing to do with the in-ring stuff. And I feel like that's just a little unfortunate, because it kind of feels like they didn't put on a very good show. But would I recommend the entire show? I would. I would actually recommend watching all of the matches, because there was a lot of good stuff in here that is definitely worth seeing. For example, Leela's debut in Stardom as a foreigner, I think she did really good, and I really look forward to her next couple matches, because I think she's going to fit in very well. Thank you for listening. Let me know if these are liked. I want to do every match, but if no one really cares and no one really listens to them, then like kind of like what's the point at that point? So just let me know. This one's going to be much longer. I decided not to write a script for this one and just kind of ad-lib it and talk about what I felt like. I always tend to go much longer this way than when I have a script. As always, I'm going to end this as a way, trying to say the Giulia thing. So, arrivederci. Hey, that wasn't so bad.